Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It has been a crazy past few months. I also am a year older than the last time I was on here. I am now 25. I know, very exciting. I can now rent a car, so kind of a big deal, I don't know. But I've been thinking a lot about just like life and how much I've changed and grown over the years and how much more changing and growing I'll continue doing. So I figured I would share 25 things I've learned in 25 years. You may already know it, you may not agree with some of the stuff I say, or maybe you'll learn something new and it'll help you grow. The first one that I think really helped me a lot, especially my freshman year of college, and this is gonna sound so simple, it's to give yourself at least 15 to 30 minutes every single day where you just relax. You're not thinking about work. You're not thinking about school. You're not thinking about drama. You're not thinking about like chores you need to do or anything. You just relax. And you can just do whatever it is that you do to relax. You're gonna be surprised how much that like de-stresses you. Okay, number 2 is maybe you have IBS. You know, maybe you have some stomach issues. Everything you eat upsets your stomach just hurts constantly, or maybe you're just stressed out and anxious. You see, I learned this because throughout college I ended up getting really bad stomach issues. I genuinely thought I had IBS, and then I graduated college and I got rid of some not so great friendships. I didn't have the stress of school and homework and getting a job and all that stuff. And then guess what happened? I no longer had my stomach issues. Crazy how that works. So I think I was just really stressed and anxious and just not that happy, and it came through in a physical symptom, which I didn't think was possible because I didn't know. Number 3, no one cares what you're doing at the gym or in a fitness class. They really don't. And if they do, why do you care what their opinion is? And do you really want a friend like that? Do you really care what someone like that thinks of you? So just go to the gym, go to the fitness class. Don't let fear keep you from going. Number 4, there are so many jobs out there in the world that no one talks about. It's insane. Like when you go to college, you think, okay, I need to do like business or be a teacher or be a doctor or a nurse or a dentist or this or that, lawyer, whatever. But there's so many jobs out there in the world. Like even my job that I do, you know, in like real life, I'm an interior designer for healthcare facilities. And like, obviously someone has to do that, but I never thought about that actually being a job, you know, and now that's what I do and that's what I love. So I guess what I'm trying to say is don't be discouraged if one of the like classic typical jobs doesn't really align with what you want to do or what you're passionate about, because there's so many jobs out there that I'm sure you'll find something that you are passionate about and that you may just not know about. And also, if you get a degree in one thing, you can always end up doing some other totally different job depending on, you know, what it is. Number 5, I saw this one on Twitter maybe or something a few years ago when I had just started my job, and I decided to do it, and it actually kind of works. If you are new to a job, like an office job, and you're in person, get a little jar and just fill it with candy. Like I filled mine with Dove chocolates of like various flavors, and put it on your desk and put a little sign that says like, take some chocolate if you need it, you know, something like that. And you will be surprised how fast you go through that chocolate jar. People, especially when they're stressed at work, need and love chocolate. And most people, if you're sitting at your desk and they come and take some chocolate, they'll chat with you for a second. So if you want to make friends and like get to know people, then I recommend putting a little candy jar on your desk with a little sign. Number 6, apply for jobs you're interested in, even if you may not necessarily have the qualifications that they're looking for, and even if the company's not actually hiring, because you never know what'll happen. My job that I have right now, they weren't hiring any interior design positions at the time, but I really wanted to work for them. So I found a contact and I reached out to them and asked if they had any opportunities for an intern position, and long story short, they ended up hiring me, and I've worked there for almost 3 years. And I had to like double email them, so never be afraid to follow up and never be afraid to reach out to someone. Worst comes to worst is they'll say no, and then you move on. Number 7, living a sustainable life doesn't need to be super expensive or take a ton of effort. It's the small things people do that really make a big difference. Okay, I know it's all like pollution, all that stuff, climate change is widely due to large corporations, advice, believe me, I know. But if you're wanting to live a sustainable life yourself and try to help the world a little bit, you don't have to do it perfect. You don't have to spend all this money to get this fancy sustainable stuff. Use what you have, compost, recycle, use reusable bags. Don't buy new if you don't need to. Go buy thrifted clothes or whatever, thrifted furniture, whatever it may be. I'll make plenty of other videos about sustainability, but does not need to be expensive or fancy. Number 8. So this works for me. It may not work for everyone. I learned this when I was a teenager and I still use it to this day. If you have like a single zit or maybe multiple zits, you know, whatever, an easy spot treatment for it that'll help the zit go away like much quicker than it would normally is you take some baking soda and then some warm water and you mix it around to make like a little paste, and then you put it just like on the spot and it'll just kind of stick there. Then you just leave it on there for 10 minutes and then you can like scrunch your face to get it all off, like to fall off. And then you dab the cloth with warm water on it to get the rest of it off, and it works wonders. It's not going to make it go away overnight, but it will decrease the swelling and the redness and everything much quicker than if you just did nothing to it. Now onto some like more deeper ones and like more general life ones. This is going to be the longest video ever because I love to ramble. Woo! I'll try to be quicker. Okay, so number 9 is that people change, and that's okay. Change is important and it means that you're growing. You have changed to other people and hopefully you're just getting better and better. So as people change, hopefully it means they're getting better. And if they're changing for the worse in your opinion, then maybe you don't want them in your life. Change is important and it's good. Number 10 is kind of like a 2-parter. The first part is don't listen to criticism from someone that you want to take advice from. So, you know, if I get a mean comment on this YouTube video,
you suck and you think you know everything and I hate your guts.
Am I gonna get offended by that? Honestly, probably for like a second, but then I just have to remind myself, do I know this random person? Would I ever go to that person for advice? Because if not, then like why am I listening to their criticism now? And that doesn't necessarily have to be some stranger on the internet. It could also be like a coworker, an acquaintance, a classmate, whatever. If it's someone that you wouldn't personally seek out and go to for advice, then like why are you listening to their criticism? And then the other part of this one is don't take advice from someone that you don't admire. And I feel like that kind of goes well with like relationships too. Like if you ask someone for relationship advice and they're in a relationship that you don't love, then like maybe they're not the best person to give you relationship advice. Okay, number 11. This one I learned like last year. Again, something so simple, but it honestly like changed my life almost in a way. That sounds really traumatic, but it really changed my perception on life or like on meeting people. So when you're meeting someone new, whether it's a friend or a coworker or you're going on a first date, whatever it may be, and when you're meeting someone new, like you're interviewing for a job, instead of going into the interview or the date or whatever it may be, the hangout, don't go in like, oh my gosh, are they gonna like me? I don't know, like what if they don't like me? Instead, go in thinking, am I gonna like them? Am I gonna wanna date them? Am I going to want to work for them? Am I gonna wanna be their friend? If you don't wanna be their friend or girlfriend or boyfriend or coworker or whatever, then it doesn't matter whether they want you to be theirs. That made me so much more confident on going on dates because I went in like not even, I mean, I was nervous, but I wasn't as nervous as I typically would have been because I was just like, I'm awesome. If they don't like me, that doesn't matter. What do I feel about them? Am I gonna like them? Are they awesome? Do they deserve to spend time with me? Yeah, I don't know. It just really boosts your confidence. And I mean, it sounds like you're like, you know, big-headed or whatever, but like, be confident. It helps so much. Number 12. I'm not huge into like astrology. I'm a Leo and like some aspects of it I get, but some like meh. But personality test. I have known about the Myers-Briggs or 16 personalities one for quite a few years now. And in case you're wondering what I am, I'm an ISFJ. I can't remember if I'm an A or T, but it's the defender. Basically, I'm very dedicated and a warm protector. I'm always ready to defend my loved ones. So that makes me feel like all good about myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm awesome and warm and nice. But it got me all like, you know, feeling good about myself. And then I found out about the Enneagram this year. My sister became like obsessed, so then she got everyone else in my family obsessed, and so we found out our types. I took a quiz online and it told me I was a type 6, but then my sister recommended this book to me, and her and my other sister both read the book and they told me that I was actually a type 1, and I jokingly said, oh, that one's the really annoying one, isn't it? And then they both were like, So I read the type 1 chapter and it hurt me deeply. It really showed me who I am and why I am the way I am. And if you read about your type and it makes you feel sad about yourself, then it's probably the right type. It's also helpful in learning about other people because now I know what like my brother-in-laws and my sisters and my mom all are, I'm pretty sure. And so now when they do certain things or think certain ways or whatever, and we like disagree on how we're thinking or acting, I can totally understand like where they're coming from. And then like when I do annoying type 1 things, my family and my boyfriend and stuff can understand why I do that. Look into those. The Myers-Briggs is important. It shows you your personality, and then the Enneagram shows you why you are the way that you are. Number 13, I'm just gonna keep this simple and to the point. Listen to your gut. It's usually right. Whether it's about a relationship, a friendship, a job, anything in life, your gut's right. Every time I've ignored my gut, I realized I should not have ignored my gut and I should have just listened to it sooner, because eventually I listened to it. Number 14, who you surround yourself with, what you listen to, and what you consume will truly affect the way you think and live and feel. Make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people that push you to be a better version of you and don't want to compete with you and don't talk bad about you. Make sure that you are following social media pages that really hype you up and make you feel good. There's a few Instagrams that I follow, I'll link them here, that I think are amazing. Some of them help with self-confidence and some of them help just show good news, because I feel like the news is typically bad, so it just brightens my day following these accounts. Number 15, the calendar and the reminders app in your phone, if you have an iPhone, are lifesavers. I literally put everything into my calendar. If like my friends like, hey, let's hang out on Friday, I put it in my calendar. If I have a work thing, I put it in my calendar. Like anything in life. I even plan out like my workouts or like filming my videos, or sometimes I even have to go down to like planning when I need to cook and what I'm cooking and going to the store and whatnot. I put it in my calendar. It helps so much. And then reminders. I don't know if you guys know about the reminders app on iPhones. It's so helpful because you can set up a reminder to remind you when you arrive or leave a certain location and or at a certain time. And then you don't end up like, if you're using the calendars app, you don't end up like overbooking yourself, or you don't end up forgetting about plans, because those would both be bad. Number 16, you truly do not know what's going on in other people's lives, so just try your hardest to be kind whenever you can. I know sometimes it's hard when you're in a bad mood, you have a lot of stress, you have a lot going on. It's hard to remember this, but just try. If you have the chance to do something nice for someone, do it. Whether it's something as simple as like complimenting a stranger, I really like your shirt. That could like brighten their day so much. Or if it's like helping a friend out, whatever you can do to help someone, just try to do that. I always try when like something happens, someone's mean to me or rude to me, or there's some kind of disagreement, I try to think of it from their perspective and think like, well, maybe they're just having a rough day, maybe this is happening, maybe this, whatever. Number 17 is pretty serious, so call your parents every day. If not every day, then like every week, if you're lucky enough to have them in your life and to have them around still. A lot of people don't have good relationship with their parents. A lot of people have lost their parents, and it's really sad. And so if you're lucky enough to have them, or even just one of your parents in your life, or if it's just a caregiver, maybe it's your grandparents or someone, call them. Don't be embarrassed to be their friend. Don't be embarrassed to be out in public with them. They're the ones that are always going to be there for you. And if you have a bad relationship with your parents or you don't have them around, I'm so sorry. And I know that is not helpful at all, but yeah. So if you're lucky enough to have them, please call them. Number 18, stop caring so much what other people think about you and stop comparing yourself. Social media is legitimately just a highlight reel. Like, it's just a highlight reel of people's life. So don't sit there and compare yourself to other people on Instagram or whatever, or in real life. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. Life gets so much easier and more fun when you stop caring so much and stop being insecure. I used to be so insecure, like in junior high especially, and as a teenager, and even through like college, I was insecure and like comparing myself. And now, I mean, I still have my moments, but I try my hardest not to be insecure and not to judge and not to compare, and life is just so much easier. You just don't worry as much, you know? You don't stress as much. Number 19. This is something that I learned a few years ago. In college, I got a cold literally like every single month. It was annoying. And I constantly wasn't feeling totally 100%. I know I already talked about my stomach issues, but I was also having these issues. I was a mess in college, it's fine. But I started taking vitamins. I'll say what I take. This doesn't mean that this is what you should take. Do research, test it out on your own body, whatever. The one that helped me the most was the Woman's 1 a Day multivitamin. And then I'm pretty sure I take vitamin D and then fish oil. And I did research on all of this before I started taking it. I mean, the multivitamin, I feel like everyone could take a multivitamin, but I don't know. Check it up. I'm not a health professional, I'm not a doctor, but I did notice once I started taking vitamins, I actually started feeling better. Like I wasn't getting sick as often. It was great. Number 20, you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone to truly grow. And I know that's terrifying, but I try my hardest to push myself out of my comfort zone. There's a lot of things I do keep in my comfort zone with. So it could be something simple, like speaking up in a meeting, speaking in front of a crowd, starting a YouTube channel. It also could be going out to eat alone, shopping alone. I don't know. Maybe it's your first week in college or at a new job or whatever, and you want to make friends, and you go and walk up to someone and start a conversation. Whew. These are all scary to me. Maybe they're not scary to you, but that's where you really grow, is just pushing yourself. Number 21, an easy way to get over a breakup, whether it's a friendship breakup, like drifting apart from a friend, or whether it's a romantic relationship breakup. The best way to get over it is to think of the negatives and to remind yourself why you guys are no longer friends, or why you guys are no longer dating, instead of looking back at all the good times. You can have a good time with like anyone really, but if the negatives outweigh the positives, then obviously they're not in your life for a reason. And if you got broken up with, or your friend distanced themselves from you, I know that it's really hard, believe me, I've been through it, and you just have to look back. And again, I know this sounds so mean, but just think of the negatives. Why aren't you guys friends? Why do they do that? Think about all the fights you had, or all the disagreements, or the different morals or different values, or whatever it may be, and just remind yourself of that. 22, there are so many nice people out there, and this one's gonna come off mean, but there are so many nice people out there. Don't stay in a relationship that you're not just like pumped about just because they're nice. If you're getting a gut feeling that this person isn't for you or isn't meant for you, then leave. I don't care if they're the nicest person in the world and you're gonna break their heart. And that sounds so mean, but it's true. You gotta do what's best for you. Number 23, Brutus. You got a big fat butt? Yeah, you do. You got a big fat butt. Don't stay friends with people if all they do is talk bad about other people. If all they are doing is gossiping, like, why would you want to be friends with them? That means that when you're not around, they're gossiping about you. This was a hard lesson to learn, and it's something I'm still working through. There's so many other things in life to talk about than other people. And I'm not saying I never gossip. I obviously gossip about work and everything with my work friends or whatever. But like, I don't talk badly about my friends. I'm not gonna sit there and be like,
oh my god, did you see that Vanessa got a new job? How dare she?
I'm gonna celebrate her accomplishment. Just remember that if you sit back and you realize these friends are draining, all they do is talk about each other, that means they're talking about me, then like distance yourself from them. Number 24, just because someone's in a relationship doesn't mean they're happy. A relationship does not make you happy. You need to make yourself happy. I know some people say that you have to be fully happy and fully, you know, figured out, have your life figured out before you get into a relationship. I don't necessarily agree with that. Actually, I just don't really agree with it. I think you do need to love yourself enough that you're not going to deal with someone that doesn't deserve you. I know I've been in relationships for long periods of time where the person just like didn't really respect me, and I didn't have enough self-confidence and self-love to just take a step back and realize that they weren't treating me the way I deserved to be treated. And now that I do have that self-love and do have that self-confidence, I'm not standing for anything less than what I deserve. Don't look on social media and be like, oh, they must be so happy, look how happy they look, because again, social media is fake. They could be in like the worst relationship ever. And number 25, another awesome piece of advice I learned, I think, from a podcast that really has helped me a lot. Okay, so if you aren't sure about a decision, maybe your gut isn't really saying something, or maybe you're ignoring it without realizing, pretend that it's your friend asking you for advice and that you're the one giving them advice. Let's say you're like unsure about a relationship, blah blah blah. Just pretend that your friend came to you asking for advice. What would you say to them? Whatever it may be, listen to your own advice. And I've done this on my friends too. They've come to me for advice and I've said, if I was asking you that question, what would you say? And then they answer and I'm like, there's your answer. And they're like, I see what you did there. Hopefully that one made sense. I feel like that was a little hard to explain, but hopefully it made sense. So like, if you're struggling with something, pretend it's your friend struggling, and what would you tell them to do? and then that's what you should do. Okay, well, it has officially gotten dark in here. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you learned something, and be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so that you're notified every single time that I post. And let me know what your favorite piece of advice either in this video or that you've ever gotten in life is, because I love learning, and even the smallest little tidbit of information can really change someone's life. Some of the ones I said today were like the most simple changes ever, but they truly changed my life. Thank you again for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.